thanks so much for joining me. Today I decided to do a cook with me video, and I started out with something simple, which is a crock pot meal. It's my go-to meal. I think I've made this meal maybe 4 or 5 times so far, but the family really loves it, and that's why I decided to show you what I'm making. So it's actually a pot roast with a mashed potato base, and it's super delicious and super easy. So I'll go through the process of what I did, and if you have any questions, let me know. I will also post the ingredients and the recipe at the very end. So enjoy. I used 2 pounds of pot roast meat, a slow cooker packet, 2 cans of chicken broth, but you can use beef broth, an onion, some carrots, and celery. And for the mashed potatoes, you will also need butter, cream cheese, and salt. Trust me, the cream cheese will not disappoint. You want to start by chopping up all of your veggies. This will take you no more than 5 or 6 minutes to do. If you notice, I never lift the front of my blade to chop off of the cutting board. You want to make sure that's always down when you're cutting. It's a chefy way to do it, but honestly, it's the safest way to cut. Also, I usually cut all of my veggies at once, so I'm cutting all 4 stalks at one time. So I do like to use the large carrots, but if you have the baby carrots, you don't have to do anything to them. You don't have to peel or cut, just throw them in as is. But these ones you do have to peel. I do have 5 here, and I give an extra one usually to my youngest, Elijah. He eats it like a little rabbit. So I'm going to chop these babies up real quick. Just make sure you're using a proper cutting technique and you can cut 4 at a time. I'm going to throw these in and get working on my onion. I only need half for this recipe, so I'm just going to cut it right in half. And the best advice I can give you about an onion, so you're not crying as you're cutting it up, is keep your onion in the fridge. And really all of that stuff that makes your eyes water, that spiciness as it were, it just kind of, it doesn't release when it's cold from the fridge, so just try that trick. When I'm cutting the onion, I really try to keep that little butt end intact and chop everything vertically and then horizontally and chop again until I get to the end of it. But it just keeps it as a little marker, and also rumor has it that it keeps you from crying as well. And no, I'm not throwing my peels on the ground. My trash can just happens to be right in the island where I'm working. Okay, so here you can throw in your onions and the rest of your ingredients. Okay, it's looking good, so I'm gonna close the lid and turn it on for low for 8 hours, but you can put it in for high for 4 to 6 hours. I just always think that the 8-hour mark works out better and the meat is way more tender. Oh yeah, and I don't want to forget Elijah's afternoon snack. So next, I'm going to pre-work on my potatoes. And if you're wondering how the heck am I going to pre-make these things, I'll show you. The first thing I did is put some ice in a bowl, and that's going to hold all of the potatoes I'm going to peel and roughly chop. So I realized that peeling and cutting potatoes is a big task, so I do want to get that done in the morning and then have it all ready for the meal. And I promise it's well worth the effort. I'm going to give these potatoes a rough chop and throw them right on top of my ice. And when I'm done, I'm going to add a little bit more ice and cover everything with water so it's completely submerged. So when you're ready, go ahead and throw your potatoes and water right into the pot and boil them for about 15 to 20 minutes until they're fork tender. Then drain the potatoes and throw them right back into the pot. Then I decide to do the butter and the cream cheese right in there as well. Let that melt up really nicely. Add your salt now, and then at the end you're also going to want to taste it and then put a little bit more at the end. Usually the potatoes just absorb a lot of salt. I'm going to add a little bit of milk at a time, mix it, and then see if the consistency is good. If not, I just add a dash more and keep going. You don't want to add a ton here at the beginning because I've done that before and I've gotten potato soup. So just make sure you're only adding a tiny bit at a time. So taste it at the end and see if the salt level is good, and you have the most perfect mashed potatoes. So I just like to use a bowl and scoop everything in there. Potatoes go on the bottom. And then I put the meat right on top with all of the veggies and all of that yummy brothy liquid, and that's why I use a bowl. So if you think you're willing to try this recipe, I will have it here at the end of this video. Let me know what you think, if you've tried it, and how it worked out for you. Thanks so much guys for joining me, and I will see you next time.